Hey, welcome to the Truer podcast. I am your host and intuition mentor, Katrina Slade, and I'm here in my brand new studio. I just recently moved across the country, and while I set up my new studio, I'm releasing a few unreleased episodes of the podcast that I created back in April. That's over 6 months ago. And so there's a little bit of editing I had to do to remove some of the outdated parts, but there's a lot of really good parts in here that are going to bring you a lot of value. In this episode, I guide you through a practice that's going to connect you to your life force energy and receive messages and guidance that you most need to help you in a difficult time if you're experiencing burnout or if you're just feeling low energy. And the second half of the episode, there's really important intuitive messages for you that are about this idea of burnout and life force energy. And make sure you listen till the end because there's a really important message about the gift of burnout that you don't want to miss. All right, enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Truer podcast. I am your host, Katrina Slade, and I am here to help guide you to a more truer life. Today, I want to talk to you about burnout and your life force energy and to help you see it in a different way. And I'm not just talking about burnout from career. A lot of us have that experience, but I'm also talking about any area of your life. It's almost, in fact, an area in your life that's gone dead or dim. So that could be a relationship, that could be as a caregiver, you could be burned out if you have a restrictive diet or an exercise routine, or burning out as a parent. There's lots of ways burnout can show up in our life. And you know what's interesting? When I was meditating before this episode, I was meditating for an episode that I thought I was going to create. It was a totally different topic, but the theme of burnout came forward. So I felt really strongly that I need to talk about burnout for this audience. So maybe you're really experiencing it right now. I hope not, but maybe you are. And these messages are for you. What you can expect in today's episode is I'm going to share some of my stories around burnout to help give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I'm going to share some intuitive messages that came through in my meditation that I meant to be a channel and share with you as the audience. And I'm going to guide you in an exercise that I like to call the Golden Heart Wisdom practice, where we can connect to our inner planes. We can have a dialogue or communication with this life force energy that seems to want your attention right now. So when we talk about burnout, everybody knows how that feels like. I think as a human, we all know what it feels like, but consider that burnout is a lack of life force energy. It's like the gas that gets the vehicle going. There's a car, in order for it to be able to perform, in order for it to be able to go anywhere in the world, in life, it needs fuel. And our life force energy is what animates us. It what gives us life. It's our inner light. It is said that the life force energy within us is our feminine energy, our divine feminine energy. And our consciousness is our divine masculine energy. So if we can see how our feminine energy, no matter what gender we identify as, we all have both. We have the yin and we have the yang. We have the masculine and we have the feminine. And it's not always balanced, but we have both, right? So this doesn't have to do with gender. I want to make that clear. Our feminine energy is our life force. It's our ability to have creativity, our creation energy. Our feminine energy is our ability to receive. Imagine if you have a hard time receiving, you might have a lack of feminine energy or an imbalance there. Our feminine energy is our sensuality, is our embodiment, is our connection to the body, is our intentional and conscious connection to the body. Our feminine energy is our magnetism. When we talk about receiving, it's our ability to receive what is for our highest good, it's our magnetism. Our feminine energy is our ability to magnetize, to draw in, to attract in to your life what is right for you. It's also associated with our emotions, our joy, our sensing, our intuition. I could go on and on about this, but imagine if all of these domains of your life, all of these areas of your life are like the batteries dead and there's no life into them. How is that going to affect your life? Right? Versus if your battery is more filled up, if your gas tank is more filled up, if your life force energy is more alive, how would that impact your life? I can give you an example from my life. It's time for story time. I can't remember if I've shared this story in the past, but I'm going to share it now because it's super relevant. There was a time in my life when I was living in Germany as a teacher. Before I did all of this, I was at an international school in Germany, and it turned out to be one of the most challenging periods of my life. The place I was in during that time, I was going through my Saturn return. I didn't know I was at the time because I wasn't aware of all of this spiritual stuff back then, but I was going through a really challenging time in my life. At my job, I was so stressed out all the time. I would come home from my job and ruminate and have thought spirals about the stress. And it led to a lot of physical symptoms. I couldn't sleep. I had insomnia so bad that I had to go to the doctor. One period, I couldn't sleep for 4 days. And I think I took one day off of work, but I kept going to work because I felt like I had to, right? At one time in the first year, I couldn't eat for 5 days. I would nibble on things a little bit, but anytime my digestive system was working, it felt like I was being stabbed with knives in my gut. I was so stressed, my digestive system was not functioning. Anyway, I don't need to describe it all. I think I'm getting a little too descriptive there, but I'm trying to paint a picture for you how stressed out I was at that time in my life when I was living in Germany. I was going down this path that felt so hard to live, even though other people found it good. Other people were doing well as a teacher in their career. Other people were doing well living in Germany. I thought I would love it. That was what I was wanting for years, is to live in Europe. I wanted to live in Europe, and finally I was. And then it was so hard, and I felt so bad. I got to the point where I had to reach out for help with my mental health because I was so miserable. I was like a zombie of myself. And when we're talking about life force energy, at the time I didn't really think about that, but it was like trying to force a car to keep going when there's no fuel left in the tank. I heard that it messes up the engine if you're trying to do that. Or maybe it's like there's no oil left or whatever the metaphor is, but it was so hard. I had to reach out for help. I found a wonderful counselor, and I remember one of those defining moments in my life. She asked me, well, if it feels so bad, then why do you do it? And it struck me to my core. If it feels so bad, why do you do it? And I realized I'm choosing to live my life like this. I'm choosing to be in a situation that brings me this much stress. Even though my mental mind thinks you want to live in Europe, you want to be in this job, you want to do this career because of XYZ, because you went to school, you got this degree, you have to be doing this because that's the path you're already on. I hadn't even considered, oh, why am I doing this? If I feel this bad, why am I doing this? I always get tears when I'm talking about something that really has this frequency of truth. Okay, so eventually I only lasted a little over a year before I broke down. I had husband, we were newlyweds. He had just arrived in Germany after a year apart. We had to live apart for a year because he went back to Canada to get his teaching degree. And then he moved to Germany to be with me. Finally, we're reunited. We're living together for a couple of months. And I come home from work and I break down and I say, I can't do it anymore. That was another defining moment in that season of my life. And thank goodness I have a wonderful husband. He could see how it was affecting me. He said, okay, we're going to figure this out. And so that was the beginning of this path that led me to where I am now. I want to mention the fact that I don't think all of those struggles were bad. I think I had to go through that phase in order to get to where I'm at today. And I'm sure you listening or watching, by the way, if you're listening to the podcast, did you know that there's video on YouTube that you can watch as well? You might hear my story and it might resonate with you in terms of your experience. What does this bring up for you? Have you had experiences where you reached your rock bottom and said, I can't do this anymore? Or have you been living with that inside, but continuing to keep going and keep going? I know what it's like to feel frustrated and stuck, to feel like you're not living up to your highest potential. And that's why I'm opening the Truer School of Intuition and Self-Knowledge. It's for the cycle breakers, the seekers, the sensitives who feel like they have more to bring into the world, more to offer to the world, and like there's a missing piece that they aren't accessing yet. By the way, the missing piece is your intuition. Inside the Truer School, we're going to quiet the outside noise and listen to the language of our soul so that you can finally live in alignment. The doors are opening soon to Truer School. You can join the interest list today to make sure you get updates on when the doors are opening and early bird specials. Sign up on the interest list at becoming-true.com and the link in the show notes. I'd like to pose these questions for you now. Is your body screaming at you? Do you have flare-ups of physical symptoms like hives, outbreaks, like insomnia, or maybe it's the mental health thing, which is really hard to pinpoint because it's not tangible, it's not a physical thing you can point to. Is your body showing you red flags? Is it screaming at you? I do live with an autoimmune disease. I live with endometriosis, and I notice it flares up so much worse when I'm stressed and I'm not listening to myself, I'm not listening to my body, and when I'm just trying to push through and my life force energy is diminished and dim, and my light is small and dim. So that's when my body has its worst reactions. So I'm wondering for you, when does your body have its worst reactions? And what is it trying to tell you? Now I'm going to guide you in a practice. So if you're busy doing something, that's fine. If you can stop and actually sit down and take a moment to yourself, that would be really ideal. But if you can't do that right now and you just want to listen through once, you can always come back and do this practice when you have time. This is what I like to call the golden heart wisdom practice. And what I mean by that is we connect to our heart wisdom and we call forward parts of ourself that we need to connect with. And it is usually very healing and very impactful. So let's get started. I invite you to find a comfortable position, sitting or however feels right for you, with your hands on your heart. We're going to breathe into the heart again. Deep breath in, breathing in calm and peace. And a slow breath out, relaxing, releasing any tension. Deep breath in, filling the heart space with this beautiful breath. And slow breath out, just dropping out of your mental energy into the heart energy. One more deep breath in. And slow breath out, just anchoring down into the heart. And we're going to call forward your life force energy. It's going to come forward. If you can sense, it might have some kind of body, some kind of form. It might come to you as a shape or symbol. Your life force energy is coming to you now, and you're just going to be open and receptive to what it is showing you. Your life force energy might come as a gas tank that's empty, or it might show up as a battery, or even a cartoon character. Anything that comes, just be open and allow it to come through you now. Your life force energy, and noticing when you do connect with this, you might just have a sense. You might not see anything. You might just have a sense of it, but sensing what is the energy like? Is it vibrant and full? Is it depleted? Is it rusty? Is it angry? Just feeling what is your life force energy showing you, or how does it feel? And if your life force energy had a voice, what would it be saying to you? And you can ask, how are you? And see what is its response. How are you? And you can ask, why are you this way? Why do you feel this way? And even validating, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay. It's acceptable. And asking, what do you need? What do you need to be more vital, more revitalized, to be more alive? What do you need? You can ask, what is the root cause of this diminished life force? What is the root cause? You might be shown something from childhood. You might be shown a memory. You might be shown something about your parent. Being open to whatever wants to come through. What is the root cause of the diminished life force? And you can ask, how do you want to be nurtured or nourished? How do you want to be nurtured or nourished? What does it need? And then sensing, how can you give it that? In this moment, how can you give it what it needs? You might see yourself interacting with this being, with this form. You might see yourself opening up the quantum field and letting golden light pour down. You might see yourself watering it like it's a plant that needs to be watered and have sunlight. What does it need? How does it want to be nourished? And then see yourself or feel yourself giving it that, what it needs. Taking a deep breath in, slow breath out, coming back to the here and now. Okay, hopefully you got something out of that practice. If you didn't, you can always come back to it another time when it feels like a better time to be doing a practice like that. But I really hope you got something out of that. And if you did, maybe write it down because you might want to remember that for later. Okay, before I came on to record this, I did a meditation and I was shown intuitive messages to share with you. And I had the sense in that meditation that a lot of us, including me, when we get into that burnout stage, we might not even realize it because it just gradually happens over time. And oftentimes there's this tendency to be self-critical, to beat ourselves up, to feel bad about ourselves. Like, why can't I make this work? Why am I failing? It might feel like you're a failure because you're burnt out, but you might not even realize you're burnt out. So I was just shown that it doesn't really help to beat yourself up about burnout, but just be aware that, oh, I think I'm burnt out. That might be really helpful. I was also shown a vision of, think of this as like a metaphorical symbol of burnout. The idea of rubbing your hand on a piece of wood against the grain and getting splinters. Just saying that makes me cringe so bad. But that's what I was shown is the burnout. It's like you're going against the flow of life. You're going against the grain, not in terms of, oh, that's an unconventional lifestyle you're living, not that way of going against the grain. I'm talking about going against the flow of life, maybe because you thought you had to. Like when I was a teacher and I was so stressed out for years that my body was shutting down because I thought I had to do that because that's what I went to school for. And that's how I set up my life. But the idea of rubbing your hand against the grain and getting splinters, it doesn't actually mean it's a bad thing. That's actually maybe what you're supposed to go through. Like I was supposed to go through that difficult time so that it showed me what was not right for me. So think about your burnout not as like your failure. It's your soul's curriculum. It's your soul's lessons that you're here to learn these lessons in this lifetime. And it's showing you what's not right for you. So that's actually good information to have. It's actually really important information to have because it's showing you that way. You're rubbing your hand that way on the piece of wood. That's not the way to go because it hurts and it causes suffering, it causes problems. And all those little splinters that might come up metaphorically, those are possibly your soul curriculum, possibly your dharma. Your life purpose is to be here in this lifetime to learn certain lessons for your soul's highest growth and evolution. And that's not a bad thing that you have to learn lessons. Like we wouldn't tell a person taking algebra, it's bad that you have this homework, that you have to learn this math. Actually, I hated math so much in school, and I still have issues with that. But maybe that's a bad example. You wouldn't tell somebody, oh, you want to be good at drawing portraits? Well, learning how to draw portraits, that's bad. Why would you want to practice? That's not good. You have to learn how to do something by going through the process of learning it. So if you can see this burnout as a learning experience, if you want to be a great portrait painter, you're going to have to practice painting the portraits, and there's going to be some really crappy ones. You can't be a brilliant portrait painter right off the bat. You have to learn. So how does that apply to your life? What are the splinters? Imagine rubbing your hand against the grain of that wood and ouch, there's lots of splinters. What are those splinters in your life right now? Or another way of seeing it as what in your life feels really dim, feels really dead, like a dead battery. Like I don't have any charge left. There's no more juice in this battery. What part of your life are you feeling that? And realizing that's not your personal failure. That's information. Oh, doing it this way isn't right for me. So what is right for me? In that practice I just guided you on, hopefully you got some information from that. How does your life force want to be nurtured or nourished? Maybe go towards that. Like for me, I was shown laughing. So I think making sure there's more lightness in my life, making sure there's more joy in my life, that needs to be more balanced out with all of the other areas of my life that feel more like I tend to be a workaholic. So I need to have more balance. That's something I've been working on a lot actually throughout this journey of creating my brand and this platform that I'm creating. I've had to do it in a way that doesn't bring me burnout because in the past I have burnt myself out many times, even recently, Over this last holiday season, November, December, January, I thought I could do everything all at once. I burned out, had an emotional breakdown. My autoimmune disease flared up, big surprise. And it was hard. And this whole time I've been creating this, I've been mindful of that. And I accidentally, temporarily slipped into my old ways, which is driving myself into the state of burnout. Like I said, I had to realize, oh, I'm burnt out. You don't realize you're doing it until you reach a certain point where it's really hard. And so I realized that, and that was good information. Oh, I'm doing that again. Okay, how can I course correct? I'm out of alignment. If you see that you're doing that thing, which is like going against the flow of life, causing struggles or challenges or your life force energy to diminish, there's a way you can become more aligned. There's a way you can nourish your life force energy, be revitalized. So how can that be? What do you need to do, or what do you not need to do? A lot of this has to do with not doing things the way you've been doing them. So this is actually the gift of burnout. I said it, the gift of burnout is knowing what's not right for you. Having that new awareness. Oh, this is not the right way for me to go about doing this. Oh, this relationship is not right for me. Or, oh, this career is not right for me. Even though it seems scary in the moment, it's actually guiding you towards a life of better alignment. It's almost like a process of elimination where you can say, okay, that's not right for me. So what is right for me? So just seeing that as the gift, seeing the burnout as information. Oh, okay, this is the information I need to make better choices so that I can live a life of more alignment, which will lead to more life force energy, which will lead to better creativity, better flow, better aliveness, more balance and harmony in your life, externally and internally. Oftentimes, after a period of burnout, there needs to be a period of rest. If you grew up in the times I grew up in, I'm a millennial. If you grew up during those times, any time before then, even some more recent times, the culture tells you that you have to be productive or else you're worthless. And the culture tells you that resting is weak and you should just go. But that's what leads to burnout, and that's what leads to diminished life force energy. It leads to mental health problems. It leads to a lot of the problems we see in our world today, which are very big and heavy and problematic, right? So think about this. Do you want to keep subscribing to toxic patterns? Do you want to keep subscribing to toxic beliefs that are the root of toxic patterns that are causing you to go into burnout? It's a choice. Once you realize it, it's a choice. You have to make the decision consciously and intentionally to get out of that pattern, to get out of that mindset. And it takes practice. Like I was saying about the portrait painter, you can't become a beautiful portrait painter without the practice. And so just know that you're not doing anything wrong. You're not a failure. If you're in burnout, in fact, you're probably having some level of success in your life, because usually burnout comes from achievement, maybe in ways that are not aligned for you. So you're not doing anything wrong. You're just perhaps not in touch with your life force energy. So that's why I guided you in that practice. And that's why I'm opening the Truer School of Intuition and Self-Knowledge. It's for the cycle breakers, the seekers, the sensitives who feel like they have more to bring into the world, more to offer to the world. And like there's a missing piece that they aren't accessing yet. And there's so many good things in there. In fact, For you, if you're experiencing burnout, I would recommend the energy healings. There's a couple energy healings in there that would be really good. There's one energy healing for your inner bloom, which could be good. There's also some meditations in there that are really good for like bringing in more balance and harmony and alignment into your life. The doors are opening soon to Truer School. You can join the interest list today to make sure you get updates on when the doors are opening and early bird specials. Sign up on the interest list at becoming-true.com and the link in the show notes.
One more thing. I just want to tell you, I love you, and I'm proud of you for doing the inner work, for showing up, and for choosing a truer life. If this episode resonated with you, if it helped you access a deeper truth within yourself, then please share it with someone you love, because the world needs more of us living our truer lives. This has been a Truer Media production. The Truer podcast is created and produced by me, Katrina Slade. Music by Frequently Asked Music. Wordmark by Annika Samples of Incandescent Creative. Cover photography by Lucinda Richard. Time for the really short legal talk. This podcast is presented solely for educational purposes. I am your soul sister. I am a spiritual guide, but I am not a licensed physician, psychologist, or other qualified medical professional. I hope to see you again.